All right. Hey, welcome back to the First Takedown podcast. I'm Alex Bennett, along here with Hunter Gamble. And, man, today we got a very special guest, the pride of Tennessee wrestling. I'm telling you, Hunter, if you walk into any, room in a Tennessee tournament and you say the name Scottie Boykin, everyone's like, oh, yeah, oh, I know, oh, Scotty, man, oh, Scotty, how's Scotty? Scotty's doing good. So, pride of Tennessee, multiple NCAA qualifier, wrestler at University of Tennessee, has already had a sweet coaching journey, which we're going to get into from RTC's, Air Force, back at Cornell, but I'm here to introduce Scottie Boykin. Scotty, how you doing, dude?
I'm good, guys. How are you? Thank you guys for having me on here.
I appreciate it. I mean, I'm going to get into a little bit of the background, but I mean, I'm serious when I say everyone talks about pinnacle Tennessee wrestling.
It's so funny. I mean, obviously we didn't grow up far away. We bordering states, right? But it's so funny how now I think it's less that way now, but when we were in high school, it was so siloed state to state.
It was.
You maybe knew a couple guys that wrestled in Tennessee, or you knew a couple guys that wrestled, but now they all kind of know each other. They're friends on Instagram, and that's how they recruit each other, and that's how the world lives now in the recruiting world. But I didn't know if you could go back to high school and be like, hey, name all these Tennessee guys, I'd be like, there's nobody I can name. But if you told me to name all the Georgia guys, I'd be like, okay, got it. And we were just so siloed of I knew Georgia wrestling and didn't know Tennessee wrestling. And then when you get into college, all that goes away because you got to know everybody. You're competing with everybody in the country. So it's just funny how much that's changed over the years. I feel
yeah, because Tennessee was our whole world really. We knew of all the great guys in Tennessee, right, that would go on and do things, but I will say, the sort of hybrid was the Chattanooga kids, because they would go to Georgia too.
Yeah,
and, the Baylor. Yeah. I would say the Baylor school and Macaulay and all those guys. Those guys,
Ringgold. You get Ringgold involved. It's in, Chattanooga's in such a spot where it isn't Tennessee or Georgia. It's both really, in a sense. So it's just pretty funny how that works. So
it was a fun time though. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know one name that pops in my head every time somebody talks about Tennessee wrestling, and your example is oh, do you know I remember Turbo.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a unique name.
TJ Duncan was that kid for me. I remember that name being really popular.
Brooks Clemens was the one for me. Tennessee, the Georgia crossover and everything, and then Zach Watson was always 5-time state champ, and then he was going to Virginia too.
Mm-hmm.
He won almost every national tournament. I think he got second a couple times, but
was ASCII ASCII was your grade? Was ASCII a name that you, Scotty? Get your big head in the center of the camera. I mean, how? I mean,
sorry, coach. Am I okay? I was.
I mean, you were dude, you were
Is this?
Yeah,
good?
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It's also an audio. He's doing it now. It's also an audio podcast, So it's fine.
That's true. You got to service the video listeners and the audio listeners. You can't just service one or the other.
Most people don't want to look at me like that, so I just try to hide the shadows.
Well, hey, I mean, going off of that, being siloed. Just first, kind of want to hit on a little bit of your high school, Scotty, in your career in high school, being in a state as Tennessee, and then also your view, just from the outside looking in, of how much Tennessee wrestling has grown. I mean, the sport as a whole, obviously, but specifically Tennessee, just from being from Tennessee and wrestling at UTC.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I'll be honest, I wasn't even really looking to make it into wrestling that far anyway. So it's wrestling was my part-time thing, and then football was my full-time thing, and my coaches were pretty understanding. My football coaches understood that I was pretty decent at it, so they would allow me to go to tournaments and stuff in the summertime. But for the most part, I was just kind of doing my thing with football, and if somebody asked me to be on an all-star team, I would do it. But I mean, I was very, I'll call it dumb, I guess, in high school, and I guess naive would probably be a better word. Just kind of not knowing all that went into the college wrestling and just the next levels and stuff. And that's kind of I think why it worked out for me so well. it was just like, okay, like I'm gonna go to UTC, right? I got all these guys on my team. All right, I got to beat all these guys. Now it's like, okay, now a bigger scale, I got to beat all these guys in the SoCon, and then like from then on, like I got to beat all these guys in the CAA. So I think like it kind of played into my a little bit success a little bit, just being that way, and it was just like, oh, this guy kind of sucks. And that's kind of like how you're coaching your guys to wrestle, right? Is just like you don't look at a name and a number. Like when you wrestle a guy super well, you're just like, oh wow, like that guy was pretty tough. Yeah, the guy's ranked like 15th in the country. You know, you just wrestle really well, like, oh wow, nice. Like, but you know, like in doing that, and now going into coaching and everything too, like it's just totally like flipped my view on everything, and it's just like I want to be able to help those guys out. I actually just did a camp at Blackman in Murfreesboro, and like I do all these camps in New Jersey, and I do all these camps in New York and Pennsylvania, Ohio, all these stuff, and they get a bunch of D1 coaches all the time, but like I went to Blackman and they were just like starstruck, and I'm like, this is new to me in the sense of just because like they were just infatuated with the fact that I was there, and I was just like, oh, they actually don't get like that many like Division I coaches in the room. Right, so just kind of having that effect and like what that would have done for me at like a young age, and just sort of having that inspiration. And I was one of those guys that really listened to what people said, and kind of took it to heart. And in doing so, like just want to kind of carve the path so that like people that are naive like me, or that like I was not the most talented person in Tennessee by far. Right, I had an opportunity. Was a good person along the way, and just was kind of like rolling with it, and I think that it was a once in a lifetime chance that I couldn't let fold. And I think most of my years in college, they would do like the state by state breakdown, and I was like the only one from Tennessee. Eliza Oliver was technically like in those brackets, but like Illinois. Yeah. But, it was like a weird thing to think about. And like, I just want that to grow. And now like moving forward and everything, where you have like the Minions Club, you've got the Young Guns in Nashville, you've got, the Christian Brothers Club out there. Like it's statewide. Right. And I think it's just like giving these guys opportunity and giving them a chance to get out there. Right. Like when we're recruiting, we sort of look at a big board. Right. And I'm at a situation where we can sort of pick and choose what we want, but I think like there's always going to be diamonds in the rough. Everybody like I get emails every day about like, oh, this kid works hard, he's going to be like a diamond in the rough kid. Like, yeah, like everybody is a diamond in the rough kid. Like if it's the right kid, like they're going to do well with the opportunity. But it's just about finding that right one, And I mean, not even really like kind of being at the right place at the right time, and just who's going to get that opportunity and grow, right? Yeah, it's just really, really cool to see, like, Cooper Flynn was like a little kid whenever I was in college. Like, Cody Chittum was a little kid whenever I was in college. And, like, seeing those kids now through the success that they've, been having, at all their other schools, and now, like, to be at my alma mater, it's really, really cool. And I think they're going to do, really, really good things with those, so.
Yeah, that's good, yeah. And I think one thing, too, I think partly, the success that you had, that I think for Tennessee wrestling, and this, come from my perspective, but we had so many guys, like, hey, we're going to stay home and we're going to go to UTC and going to do well. But I feel like there was such a drop off for a while till like you kind of, I feel like, set another path of like, hey, you can stay home and do well and succeed if like you're staying committed to it. Because I feel like there was like a lot of times there's people who are going to UTC from Tennessee and just weren't having, we're just having trouble sticking to it. And I think that that was a good
I would say
thing.
It's the same with kids from Georgia. There was that same, like you had, Carson Fields, Josh Condon. Those were both guys that I grew up watching wrestle that like John, Condon ended up like having a decent career at UTC and wrestled pretty well. But there was always a little bit of like you go to UTC or you go to this program and these guys from the South, they can't really cut it when they get there. And I think two things go into that. A lot of guys from the South, especially when we grew up without flow wrestling, they did not know what wrestling in college really was like. And you can probably attest to that, Scotty, like a bit of a culture shock when you got there, like you mentioned earlier. Like we just don't know what that's like in certain instances. but also like the level of competition increases tenfold because you are siloed in your own state, like Tennessee or Georgia, and then it's like none of that really matters anymore. And now it's just one country, and like you're in a conference where like you're kind of in the worst conference, but like it's still like hard to win. So like you're like, oh, I get talked on as in like, oh, I'm in the SoCon, but like you have to go win the SoCon to make it in the national tournament, you know? And so, I don't know. It's just kind of
said than done, you know? Like,
what's that?
I said, which is easier said than done, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's a double-edged sword of like, you got to go and, you know, you got to go win it. But sometimes there's like good guys and, you know, you got to, I don't know. It's just kind of one of those funny things that I feel like where guys from the South probably did originally, especially before you have like flow wrestling and you have access to higher level coaches and higher level technique at a younger age, which I'm sure we'll get in. I mean, and talk about some of the guys you know that you've got young guys in on your team now. But to me, that's part of exactly what you talk about is it's crazy how you come in and it's a little bit different and the stigma changes. Like you got guys like yourself and Bryce that change that pathway forward.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like, I mean, no disrespect or anything, but when I was in high school and stuff, like UTC was like kind of, they were saying that's where your career goes to die.
No, I heard it too. Like, I think we probably all heard that. I mean, I don't think that's even.
It was just like I don't necessarily see it that way. And like I was lucky enough to be in a situation where I had great mentors, right? Like Nico Brown, I had great teammates like Corey Mock. He was really good for me. Levi, what was his last name? Clemens. Right, like those guys kind of took me up under their wing. Don't laugh, that's not funny. But what happened, like, to that, like, I was recruited by a couple other schools earlier. I put them off because I thought I was going to get recruited by football. Didn't get recruited by football, and UTC was still pretty persistent on me in that. And so I was just like, all right, like, this is my opportunity. This is what I have to go with. In doing so, right, you get to like the camp season, right, where you're training with the team for the first time, and you're wrestling these college guys that are just like grinding all the time, and you're just like essentially like kids showing up in the room with a bunch of these grown men. And I don't think like I might have gotten lucky a couple takedowns like early, but like legitly, I don't think I scored my own takedown that I initiated, right, like for a month, and it was just like. I mean, really.
Yeah, it makes you feel so far away, right? Like initially, and I think that's why a lot of guys, like, I think that's part of the issue is when you get on campus a lot of times, when you first get there, you feel like you're so far away from the guys that you're wrestling with, like you're never going to catch up, you'll never get there. And the guys that finally do kind of catch up and like make it there are the ones that end up making it. They get enough confidence and build enough confidence to do it. But the guys that I feel like that don't, they never get there and they kind of spiral. That's what causes that in my brain, at least. I felt like I was there at times and then finally got there and I was like, oh, okay, like this is what it feels like to catch up and like to start to pass.
Like those little bits of success add up over time, right? And it's just like, oh, like I have never gotten to this guy's legs. I finally got to his leg. He still stuffed me, but like I at least got there, right? Like it's winning those little battles every single day, right? And like taking care of yourself, granted, like I thought I was taking care of myself at the time, like eating Cliff Bars, this, that, and the other. They're healthy, right? But like, not things that I should be eating as like a Division I athlete, trying to be the best that I can be, right? And it was hard, right? Like, and I also had a great coach, Mark Ellis, where he saw, thank God for him, right? He saw something in me and pulled me aside a lot of the times and was just kind of taking me under my wing and like, when I say taking me under his wing, right, he was taking me in the room like 9 o'clock in the morning. Hey, we have a workout. Start out slow, and then it ends up like live, and he's just beating the crap out of me, and I'm just like, dude, I'm not gonna make it. And then like to your point too, like you seem so far off in the sense of when you're doing those practices, and then you see one of your good guys that you're looking like. I remember my first practice there. It was like a 10-minute go. Was getting my shoulder ripped off by Schrader, his old teammate, right? And I'm finally getting up, like, have like just feeling like
I wrestled Schrader, so we've all got some, we've all got some.
Schrader's the man, right? And then like I'm walking over and I see Levi actually with Coach Cerritas. After this 10-minute go, he's got 2 guys rotating in on him, right? And he's just like, hey, you're not quitting until you get like 3 takedowns on these guys. And you're just like, dude, I just died And like I know that like we all went through the same thing, and he's having to do extra. So like, do I really want to be that good? Do I put in that situation? Right? It's a scary place, but just kind of we talk about it still with our team every day. It's like you can't look at the workout as a whole. You got to win like those little moments and everything too. And it's just like we've been there at the practices, and you can't win. You can't get 3 takedowns in one. Right, you have to focus on the next one, and the next one, and then the next one. Right, you're not going to get it every time, and if you feel sad about it, the goals are going to get a lot worse. So that's like kind of like that thing of like cleaning the slate and short-term memory, more so to speak. But yeah, dude, it was tough. Like not being able to get your first takedown after you freshman or like a high school All-American, state champion, all that. Like you're in the real world now, and they don't really care about you.
Yeah, battling the room. Obviously, you had a pretty successful career in college. From that moment, kind of those guys, like you're wrestling with those guys all the time. When do you start to finally realize, like, oh, I can have some success, and like, obviously that's developed in the room, but really that's developed in competition, right? You go have a big win or something like that, where you beat somebody where. Maybe you weren't supposed to win, or you had a close match with somebody, and you kind of developed that confidence. What was kind of that first win for you that felt like, I can really compete on like the highest level with these guys. I can compete with the top, 16, 12, 10, 8 top guys in the country. When did you kind of realize that, or was there a moment for you that kind of led to that? And if there was, how early on in your career was that?
Yeah, I'll say like, during those hard times, like coaches could tell that I was struggling with not having success right away, right? And it's hard for you, but it was either Coach Ellis or Coach Chiritas, one of them. They were telling me, it was like, hey, like you just got to have one good workout, right? One good workout is going to lead to a good practice. One good practice is going to lead to a good match. One good match is going to lead to a good tournament, and one good tournament is going to lead to a good season, right? So it's those building blocks of just like, hey, making sure you're taking care of these little things right in front of you, not looking at the big picture, right, and just taking care of what's in front of you. And I will say, like, the first sort of spark of hope that I had, it was our first match, or our first tournament, more or less. I was in the freshman-sophomore division at the Hokie Open when it was like an individual tournament and then a team duel on the side. So I think I had wrestled 2 matches probably in an individual tournament, and like our Chattanooga's team was actually competing in duels on the side. And at the time I wasn't the starter, Garrett Johnson was, and he wrestled his first match or whatever and tweaked his knee, so they basically pulled me from the tournament and put me into the next duel versus Ryder. Right? And this guy was like an NCAA qualifier. Like I said, I didn't know this at the time. I was just like let's just get after this guy. So I was just spam doubling this guy like left and right, and I took him down a bunch, and like I lost a heater. It was probably like 15-11, right? And I was just taking this guy down left and right, but like he was funky, he was weird, he just threw me out of positions. But like I was just so nervous that I was just spam double, and it was working, right? And like it was to the point I lost the match, but I was just like so emotional. Like after that loss, like I cared so much about like the team. I felt like I let the team down because it was close up to that point, and I lost the duel, or I lost my match. So it's like therefore the duel got out of reach, and I was just emotional. And they were just like, "Dude, like we just pulled you from that tournament. That guy is ranked like top 25. Like he's actually not a bad opponent. Like you actually handled him pretty well, right?" And I was just like, "Oh, like really?" I didn't think it was that good. I just lost. You guys are like kind of happy with that? They were like, "No, dude, you can tell you were just trying your ass off right there."
Yeah.
And, just you came up short, right? And I think that's kind of like, also what we tell our guys is just like surrender the outcome, right? Just go out there and wrestle your best match and, let the score play out as it is. But like you just got to have offensive mindset. And then like more so the matches that I won was like the scuffle. It was just like my first scuffle, I had been to the Southern Scuffle when I was junior in high school. That's when I first moved over to Chattanooga. Now I'm over, like, I still have pictures where I'm taking pictures with David Taylor and Jordan Oliver, like superstars of the sport. Like Kale's like my buddy over there. Like I'm taking pictures with him like I'm a super fan. And now I'm like in the tournament, right? And freshman year I split my head open, probably second match. I think I lost that match still, but like basically it was like do or die. I'm making it to the second day. I wrestled this guy from Northern Colorado, decent guy. No, it was Army guy, Bryce something. I'll think of it in a minute. But I was just like one of those nervous anglers, just like, dude, let's just see what we got. So I just kept shooting and shooting and shooting. And the next thing you know, like I'm surprising myself. I'm like, I'm actually taking this guy down. I'm riding. Oh, wow, I'm winning the match in the third period. Like, let's finish this match. Like, I just won it. I made it to day 2 as a freshman. So it was just like that kind of rolling success that, you know, just sort of catapulted my career, and didn't want to look back after that. I didn't want to.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, that's pretty much what I was asking. I mean, you either get it's a tournament or a match or some point, you know, where you're like, wow, like I can kind of compete with these guys, and maybe not every guy, and maybe not, they're not all going to go this way, but you have that one that you kind of surprise yourself. But how has that kind of helped? Like, you know, I think I was this way. I knew like right away that I wanted to try out coaching. Like I wanted to get into coaching. I felt like just the mindset and kind of the way I went about my business as a competitor, that I thought, you know, I could be a good coach and could pass along some knowledge, or if anything, just, you know, support guys and kind of be there and basically just a support role, right, as a coach like that. And I kind of knew that pretty early. Like I think as like a junior, maybe like a sophomore or junior, I was like, man, I really would like to try to coach when I'm done and at least do a couple years of training. You know, RTCs weren't huge when we were coming out. They started to get a little bigger, like right in like the 2019s. But, you know, I was never really going to be a guy that wrestled a lot of freestyle. I'm too good on the mat to show off my skills on my But did you know kind of early, or did I lose you?
He's back. There you go.
So did you know kind of early, like, hey, at what point were you kind of like, I'd like to get into coaching? Obviously, you and I were on staff together one year at Chattanooga, so it's not even something we probably really talked about. But
no,
I do remember that you know, you being a part of that group, and that was a really cool group. That was actually, you know, that was a year we ended up beating Campbell. Really cool year that we got to share together. I thought was really cool. So, when did you kind of know though that you wanted to get into coaching and kind of test those waters?
I think I knew in college, kind of like what you were saying. It was just like, I would like to, if I had the opportunity, I'll probably ride with it. But, you know, reality sort of tells me I need to go work. You know what I mean? Like everything that, you know, you've probably been told your whole life. Like it would be cool if I had the opportunity, but I don't know if, like, I have the accolades. Like I was only like the qualifier at nationals. Like, you know, not looking at what I could offer as a whole person. You know what I mean? And I had kind of known, and Coach Esslinger had talked to me about it whenever I was done my senior year. But as you know, he kind of just like left abruptly all of a sudden. Yeah, right in the middle of the summer. Threw my plans kind of out the window. And luckily, like Kyle Rochelle, Chattanooga, like I kind of talked to him. I reached out to a few other schools because I was just not sure what I was going to be able to do. And like you said, RTCs weren't a thing. I still wanted to kind of wrestle a little bit. I still had some in the tank. But it was more so like I knew I wanted to like just still be involved because I was going to miss, you know, the bonds with the guys, like the bus rides, like all those.
Spades?
Was the Spades, yeah. I guess I said it that, but everybody, I don't know. Everybody says I was bad. I thought I was good. But
that was just a Matt joke, you know, Spades?
Yeah, Spades. So, I always knew, but like, you know, Kyle, I talked to Kyle, he reached out, like, it wasn't the most glamorous situation for me, but I knew if I could get my foot in the door, like, it was going to be, you know, everything I could ask for, right? It's just like, it doesn't have to be money-wise. I'm just doing what I love and didn't feel like I was working a day in my life, especially like hanging out with guys like Gamble, Nick Bracetta, Kyle, right? It was a great staff. We had a lot of fun, and we actually had a really good team that year, too. It was my old teammates. It was kind of weird being their coach, but you know, kind of having that line, and they were just a great group of guys where it was like, I guess, a blessing and a curse that they were teammates of mine before because I could call them out a little bit more, but also gotta, you know, try to figure out where I can, you know, cross over this, that, and the other, right? So it was a little bit to figure out, but I definitely knew that I wanted to coach earlier, just stay involved in the sport somehow. I didn't know to what degree, to what extent. Like I said, the summer before I was supposed to start coaching, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I was reaching out. But yeah, no, it's just been amazing. Just ever since I got my foot in the door, like, it's been nothing but good things. Like, I've met a lot of great people, been a part of a lot of great programs and everything, and each one of them are different and unique in their own way. And I've just been blessed to be a part of it and help support them any way I can.
Yeah.
Well, let's
go ahead, Alex.
Let's talk about that maybe high level, and then like just we'll might ask a couple quick like follow up from there. But let's talk a little bit about that high level journey of coaching from like being at UTC and then going to Spartan, right? And was it Finger Lakes or is it?
Yeah,
is it still
Finger
called
Lakes
Finger
Spartan.
Lakes?
It was like the Finger Lakes Wrestling Club, and then like during COVID, it transitioned into Spartan a little bit. And yeah, it was actually funny how that came about. Well, so I was basically, when I was coaching at Chattanooga, I had always talked, and we had Dan Dennis on the staff at the time. That was, he was one of my favorite guys of all time, still to this day. I was like thinking about competing. I wasn't sure. And he would always be like, "Hey, are you wrestling this?" Like he would just throw stuff at you and see what stuck.
Oh, he'd make you think like you had so much left in the tank. Like
yeah, he threw just so much at you, and then like he's still connected with like the Iowa like fans, this, that, and the other, and like I mean, since he's Dan, like he's just well connected like in the area and wrestling, right? So he was just like, one time, it was probably like November, he came into the office, season had just started, he was like, "Hey, guess what?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "I signed you up for the Dave Schultz." I was like the international tournament in Colorado Springs? He's like, "Yeah, signed you up at 92 kilos." And I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm cutting up some beer.
Yes, I got to cut some weight.
Cut some weight a little bit, and you start training hard. And I mean, luckily, I had it was a all right bracket. I think I wrestled I didn't wrestle anybody international. I wrestled Lucas Davison, and then I wrestled Tim Dudley in the finals. Ended up getting second in that tournament. He was like, "All right, so you qualify for the Open. Let's go to the Open." Or I mean, I guess it's the Open. Like, you wrestled in this. Like, let's go to the Open. I was like, "Dude, what?" So okay, here we go. Buckle up one more time, and I ended up getting 7th or 8th at the Open. I lost to Bo Nickel. And I lost to Dudley again, and I lost to Tim McCall. He coaches at Utah Valley now.
Yeah.
Big black guy. Scared me. He was super strong. But yeah, like, surprised myself again, like just being put in those situations, given an opportunity, and like, I don't know how this is going to go, but we'll see. And it ended up going well. Qualified for the World Team Trials, and then after that. I was doing pretty well, right? I was dating this girl actually, Abby, one of our good friends. Like, we all were really, really close in this friend group, right? And what happened? She was going to Connecticut, and I was still in Chattanooga, but I was texting Gabe Dean at the time. We were still really good friends, and he had like a girlfriend my way. And I knew that he was kind of up that way. So it was kind of like long distance. And I was just like, I literally reached out to him. We talked pretty frequently, but I was like, "Hey, like, how does this like long distance thing like really work? Is it worth it? Like, I don't know if I should be doing it." And like during this phone call, like I can hear him like typing on his phone. And I was like, "What is this guy doing?" And he was just like, "Well, like Connecticut's not that far from Ithaca, right?" And I was just like, "Well, what are you saying right now?" He was just like, "Look, I'm going to talk to my boss tomorrow, and we have this slot open up. Coaching, they're called the Frogs, which is our gray shirt program. And, we can get you coaching the Frogs, and then, on top of that, too, like, you can train full-time, and you'll basically be with us." And I was just like, dude, that's 12 hours away from home. Like, I don't know if that's, the right move for me. And, like, the guys that I would have been coaching was Jacob Cardenas, Julian Ramirez, Chris Foca, who ended up all having like really good careers, and Luis Fernandez, Vinny, all those guys were Mason Renich actually from Tennessee. And I was just like, dude, I was like, talk about getting your foot in the door and like just being there. I was just like, I don't know. It took a lot for me to think about, and a lot of credit to Gabe. Like, I wasn't about it at first, but he kept calling me and calling me. It was like he was recruiting me as well. And like eventually, I just realized like it was too good of an opportunity to pass up, and got my foot in the door. And like I coached my first season with the Frogs, and basically Foca only lost one match the whole season. He lost two at the Scuffle. He lost one match like in the Opens. He lost to Carter Starace at the Edinburgh Open, and then Luis Fernandez lost to Kirklead at like the Millersville Open. And I mean, outside of that, everybody was doing really well, and I was like, damn, I think I got this coaching thing kind of well. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of easy. I don't know. I'm doing good. So yeah, but then like after that season, I took the focus off of them, started focusing on myself, getting ramped back up for training. Then COVID happened, so I was just like, everybody knows how that was. I was getting ready to try to do my thing and get on an international circuit, get going, this, that, and the other, and I mean, it just kind of shut down. I sort of lost motivation a little bit. Like, I was wrestling with Gabe Dean, Max Dean, Jacob Cardenas, Kyle, pretty much every practice. Those were my only choice for partners, right? And I grew a lot. Fun. And I learned a lot, right? Mike was the coach. Yanni throws things in there. Vito throws moves in there. Like, we're all learning from each other. And it was just a really cool environment to be a part of. And through that, I got a lot of confidence in myself as far as like how I can explain things to, other guys, how to run like a program that runs on no scholarships. Like, imagine if you actually have scholarships. Imagine a school with like zero restrictions academically. I took a lot of that in like doing that. And so in doing that, coming out of COVID, I wrestled a couple times. Like I said, didn't have like the motivation for it as much as I really had before, right? I pretty much got my fix in, and realized pretty evidently that I was never going to be Jaden Cox and I was never going to be Kyle Snyder. So I was like, what do I do? So I decided like I wanted to go full-time into coaching at that point.
Yeah.
Started talking to some people, about coaching opportunities open up. And luckily enough, in the same friend group that me and Gamble and Bracetta were a part of, our athletic trainer, Cody Armstrong, he was an athletic trainer at Chat, moved to the Air Force Academy, and he had been talking to Coach Barber. Dustin Kilgore was getting ready to leave. He was getting ready to go to the police academy. And, it's kind of like what you know, who you know at this point. Like, wrestling community is very tight-knit, right? And staying involved in the sport, just keep doing your thing. You'll eventually run into people and get opportunities, right? You always will. So Cody talks to Coach Barber, the head coach at Air Force Academy. He's like, hey, there's this guy, he's just got done competing, internationally, and he wants to, get his foot in the door coaching. He's coached the Frogs. He's got a pretty decent resume, and he's a tough partner, right? And at that point, they were pretty much just looking for a partner for Wyatt. At that point, this was after his sophomore year. So he had been to nationals twice and hadn't he had good tournaments before, but hadn't All-American yet. So I was just like, I had that, and I had a few other opportunities, but I think I saw the most, I guess, potential in that. And then, once I got there, I realized real quick I was just Wyatt's chew toy. And we were having fun, but I mean, in doing that, I think I made a great decision. I lived with Cody for a little while. Colorado Springs was beautiful. Coach Barber, Coach Joe, and Coach Heilman over there were really, really good to me. Taught me a lot. Being at an Ivy League, now I'm at a military academy. What these guys go through every single day. On top of that, they don't have to wrestle. They get to wrestle, right? And, all these requirements that are asked of them. And on top of that, being Division I athletes and in the Big 12 as well, right? It's really, really hard, right? And they're expected to perform, to their best every single day, which was good. So, that's kind of like my coaching, turnout, how it all happened, like in a nutshell, right? And then in doing so, being with Wyatt, the 2 years, I got a lot of looks. And the Air Force guys, like, they did really, really well. We had a good team. Gianno Petrocelli was, an all-star. He made the blood round at 165. Sam Wolf was, like, the top 8 seed, and he was, like, an NJEP slot, which is, like, Air Force's Top Gun. Mm-hmm. He's basically going to pilot school right now, and he's guaranteed to fly like a cool fighter jet whenever he graduates from that. So Like that was a really
cool name too. Sam Wolf, the jet, fighter pilot. Fighter pilot.
Dyslexic.
Fighter pilot.
Yeah, no, it was great. And then, Mike had been in touch a little bit after that. And we would talk all the time at tournaments and this, that, and the other. Gwiz was leaving. He was finishing up after 2028 and was like seeing if I would be interested. And I was like, dude, I think like I got my mojo from being there with you guys. Like, I think that I would love to be a part of the Cornell program.
Yeah. Well, and Donnie left too, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of like how it happened at first. I was just going to be like the volunteer, right? And then in that same room, Donnie left to go be the head coach at Buffalo. So like I got sort of like a bump into this spot. Now I'm assistant coach at Cornell, and I'm like, tighten up, boy.
Get media trained.
Yeah, media trained. That's what it is. Yeah.
No, that's awesome, dude. I mean, that's a cool journey, man. You've had a really cool journey of like doing the year at UTC that you had after wrestling, and then kind of dipping your toe back in the water a little bit with competition. And I think it's cool that you kind of scratch that itch a little bit on the competition side of things. I mean, that's cool. And then that kind of competing versus coaching thing gets your foot in the door a little bit. Just you're around those guys. I mean, you're in those programs, you're talking to those guys, you're training with those guys, and that's kind of what opens up other opportunities for sure. Now that you kind of have settled down, I mean, it seems like Cornell is kind of a long-term vision for you. What are you starting to train these guys, recruit a lot of these guys? You guys brought in a really, really good recruiting class this past year. Not sure if y'all will roll those guys out or not, or if they're all going to gray shirt, but what are you most looking forward to this season? You lost some guys this past year, but you have some really good guys coming in. You're going to continue recruiting well. Cornell is going to be it's going to be a great program. It's just what's in the blood now at Cornell. Yeah. But what are you most excited about this season, and then kind of in the future, looking forward for your time here at Cornell, as long as you see yourself there?
Yeah, no, I will say, like, to your point, we're red shirting or gray shirting Knox. We got Alessio Parrington in the wings. We got Rocco De La Gata. We got the Cortez twins from California out there. I mean, dude, we have like a really, really good class just sitting in the wings right now. But we're gray shirting them, right? It's purposeful, right? You need that year to develop. You need that year to, essentially go from an 18-year-old kid to a little bit of a man. Get your college system going, right, pretty early, right? In your first competitions, you get a little bit anxious, so you got to get those out of the way too. And like, dude, this class is unbelievable. Drew Correa, I didn't even mention, right? Yeah. He's already he's just a beast. But this forward with like the actual Cornell guys, dude, we lost some guys, but I think we're putting in just as many back into the lineup this year. And I mean, we're gonna get put to the fire pretty early. We're going to the Clarion Open as kind of like it's like our wrestle. We don't do traditional wrestle offs, but like we put them in a tournament setting, right? Like these guys wrestle every single day. Of course, it's going to be like a 3-1 match, 3-2 match, this, that, and the other. So we put it in a tournament setting where we can get like a realistic look at like guys as they compete, right? And so from there, we'll get like our lineup, and then we're going straight to the national duels. $250,000 on the line. Yeah, so it's going to be a good time for that. I'm excited because it's the first time that this is happening like this, right? Where it's a tournament setting. They see the top four. Everybody else is drawn in. You're just going to, hit somebody good really early, kind of like it is a national tournament, right? Where, you don't get to pick and choose who you get. You just get what you get. Don't throw a fit. So that's actually going to be really cool. I'm actually looking forward to a lot of things this year. Our team's going to be solid. We're going to national duels for the first time. We're going to Nashville for the collegiate duels. We're wrestling over there, with you guys. We're wrestling Illinois and Little Rock, Arkansas.
Then when is that, Alex? We might have to do a podcast trip up there.
Yeah, December 21st is the day that we're wrestling. I think it's 2 days, but we're like the 21st.
21st.
I know.
Are we taking the show on the road?
We might have to set up a
you
little.
Won't.
I can
you
tell.
Won't.
I'd talk. Hatcher would let us do a little booth or a table, and then we just bring over some guys.
Yeah,
man. There's definitely some. We can't live stream anything like match wise,
No.
but maybe but interview stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, that would be cool. No,
that'd be
I
cool.
think it'll be awesome. And also, we're also going back to the scuffle this year, so
Nice.
I get
Y'all
to
sending the
finally
whole
go
squad?
back.
Are y'all sending the whole squad?
No, we're since we're hitting like we're basically getting thrown into the fire so early because we're going Clarion, National Duels, Vegas. So I mean, we're getting ripped apart right away. We're gonna kind of see where we're at, see matchup wise, like what we're gonna need and stuff. Depending on who's coming back, second semester is more than likely those guys are gonna need matches, so we'll need it. Like probably Vince Cornell is gonna need matches, 141 pounder, and basically just sort of guys that maybe didn't do as good as we had hoped for at the beginning of the season. They'll see
Yeah.
good quality like matches at the scuffle. So we'll see. It's going to be a judgment call. Definitely like mostly good guys, but we might pull like a Simon who's going to wrestle at national duels. Right, he's ranked second, third in the country depending on who you're looking at, and he'll have really good matches there, and he'll have really good matches at Vegas. So we'll probably try to save him. If he needs it, we will. But I mean, everything's kind of on the table right now to where we don't really know. And then back to Cleveland for nationals. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. You've probably got some bad memories in that town.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
In that city of Cleveland, I've got some bad ones myself.
Yeah.
Coaching that year. So,
Yeah.
from where you were, it'll end up being 8 years since that was, which seems insane.
Yeah. Right.
What do you think's been like the biggest thing in that time period that you've learned about the sport of wrestling, like from whether it's a recruiting thing or whether it's a mentality standpoint? It's been a long time since you were a competitor as far as on the folk style scene, and you were in college. Kind of what would you say is the biggest thing you've learned in that time period?
Yeah. So being from Chattanooga, right, where we had resources, but we didn't have like all the resources, right? I always felt like we were like the little brother to all these big schools, and like, oh, these guys have access to X, Y, and Z, or they have, let's say Mike Gray as a coach. They have like, all these great coaches and everything too. But at the end of the day, I realized like it's really on you, right? And kind of like what you do with your time. There's no secret sauce to wrestling.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's very individual to the person. I think that everybody goes through their own unique struggles, right? And I don't think there's I do think there's more than one way to skin a cat. And it's just like, at the end of the day, it's not that serious, right? We don't have to do this. We're not required. There's not a gun to our head making us do this. Like, we get to do this, and it should be fun, right? Where I was in college, it was just like cutthroat for me. Like, especially later on, like, it was all that mattered. And I think that's kind of why I had the bad tournament that I did. I wrestled so tight when it was just like, dude, if I just go out there and open and start flurries, right? Like, just make wrestling happen, and your body knows how to react to these positions. But like, the more you think about it, right, and the situations that you create in your head they didn't even happen because I didn't shoot, right? So I was thinking about all these things before I went out there that didn't even happen. And I think that, nowadays it's actually becoming a bigger thing now, having like a sports psych coach. We're just talking to a sports psych. I didn't really talk to anybody like, hey, I'm a man, like my feelings are my own, like nobody's going to help me with this, but like just talking about it helps, right? And venting, and I was under a lot of pressure. It didn't seem like it to a lot of people, but like for me, that was all do or die, right? And that's why I wrestled so tight. So it's not that serious, man. It's a game, and you get to do this for fun, and that's why you do it. And you have 7 minutes, right? You don't have like a whole practice and then a live session at the end to show what you got. No, you have 7 minutes to go out there and pretty much just put on a show, like, then have fun and be your best version of yourself, right? And I think I had every tool that needed to be in the toolbox. I just didn't go out there and use them, right? So in doing that, I try to teach our guys, like, hey, you want to wrestle in a way that, like, you're going to wrestle in a match. This should be like a match simulation, and just because it's practice or just because this is a 3-minute go, 4-minute go, you have to, do stupid stuff, right? Do stuff that you would normally do, and it's more trial and error versus just like win and loss. You know what I'm saying? You should never look at it that way. And we tell our guys all the time too, you got to surrender the outcome and just, try to score. It's like, I like to look at it as like the movie 300. It's like when they're getting ready to go out to battle, and it's just like, oh, dude, they're looking at like all the Persians out there, and they're excited to get ready to go out and die, because they're like, maybe there's somebody out there that is worthy enough to kill me, right? Because they know that they're the baddest dudes in the planet, right? And they go out there and they do their thing every time, but they just pray, right, that somebody out there is willing to give them like a good show. So it's kind of like, obviously a little bit more intensified than wrestling, right, than going to war. But you should look forward to going out there and wrestling a good guy, right? We want to see where you're at. You want to see where your skills are, and it's just like not a checkpoint, more or less, but you got to see what you want to work on, right? You should be excited for those big opportunities versus like, oh, this guy's ranked, I don't want to go out there and wrestle, and this is going to be a tough match. It's like, no, like that's the fun part, right? That's where you get to see how you are under those circumstances. And like I said, you surprise yourself a lot of time how good you are, and just being patient and focusing on those positions that you want to be in, right? Obviously, you're not going to be in every situation that you want to be, but you got to know how to at least get there. You know what I mean? And I think, like, flurries are huge. That's right. We'll tell our guys, right? Like, he's just sitting there squeezing me. It's like, yeah, like, you guys are sitting there ear to ear. Of course nothing's going to happen, right? You got to open up, right? You got to take, like, a little fake shot. Maybe he reshoots. You got to create wrestling. It's not just going to go out there and happen. You got to make it happen, right? And
yeah, I used to think that way until I wrestled Gabe Dean, and then I just want all the easy matches. I don't give me every easy guy. Give me I don't care. I'll wrestle this guy. Give me all the easy. I don't want none of the rank guys. I don't want those guys anymore.
Just give me the video I pulled up today. No, I was gonna try to not bring it up today, but you did it. So, I mean,
this show isn't called the first 3 takedowns. It's called just the first takedown. So,
you're right. Well, I mean, Scotty, you mentioned like the mojo that you kind of felt at the Cornell room, and I think a lot of people see that just with like the style that Cornell has and the guys that you're putting out there. But talk a little bit. I mean, you guys have like obviously a stellar coaching staff. Has won multiple like Coach of the Year awards and stuff. But talk about what it's like being a part of that kind of coaching staff and that kind of like atmosphere where they are like being a little bit creative, challenging like wrestling, and like challenging guys to open up a little bit.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Like each kid is unique. Each kid has their own style, and like we're at a spot where our guys are excited to come in and wrestle, right? And we don't ever try to put our guys in a box. We're just like, hey, this is what you do. Like, show me your number one takedown. All right, why are you getting stuck there? Okay, like, let's fix this. Or, I don't know, what are you feeling whenever this happens? So each coach brings, like, a unique piece to the puzzle. And, like, technically I'm, like, the big guys coach, but I've worked with, all these guys. Mike is technically, like, the little guys coach, but he works with, like, the 97-pounders and heavyweight. So it's all kind of this thing where we're just learning from each other all the time. And it's never like, everybody thinks like, oh, this is now I know all the wrestling. Like, no, we're still learning every single day. Like, I learn things, Mike learns things, and our guys definitely certainly learn things, especially as they're going through like the processes and what they're doing. So there's an art to, like, I guess the fundamentals, right? Like, you want to have your good baseline D, you want to have good single legs, this, that, and the other. But somebody else might have the tweak where it's like, well, I do this, like, on a single leg, and I don't know, I get their hands to the mat every time, and everybody starts to drill, and they're like, oh, this is actually nice. We're gonna do it. Like, it's one of those. And I think, like, working with Mike, I think he's one of the best minds in wrestling. He's been around a lot of good guys, coached a lot of good guys that are just totally different styles, and he knows where to put guys into their strengths and, sort of how to stay away from weaknesses in a way, right? Where obviously you want to be in your strengths all the time, but granted, you're going to be put in a situation where you're like, oh shit, this isn't good. So, just working through those positions. Granted, you're not going to win it every time, right? You can try, but, just putting up a fight and just taking steam out of the guy, making it hard for him. They don't want to shoot again. And like our brand, like, you can tell anytime we go up against guys in tournaments or guys at nationals, it's just like, oh, these guys are funky. Like, we have like the funky style. It's just like, I don't necessarily see it that way, but it is sort of systematic into like where we go and where we find pressure, this, that, and the other. And like I said, it's just a fun room.
Yeah.
We'll have like spar days sometimes, where
You have days where you just do stance and motion on a Bosa ball, or what? Do you do that? Are
that's
you good
just Meyer. We all
Okay,
kind of
you
try
can't
it
do
a
that?
little bit. No, I can't do it. That's just one of Meyer's things, and
I'd love to
Meyer's
see your
unique,
big
but
ass
they're
roll.
good.
I'd love to see your big ass rolling around on that damn ball.
I've taken a few tumbles. There's actually been a video of it where I just bust my butt on it. So, like, that's just one of those things that Meyer does, though, where he's just so unique as a person. And it's just like, it actually is a great core workout, right? Where he's just rolling across the ball and able to control his body in that way. And he's just such a freak that, like, dude, he's able to just do his thing. And, like, for him, right, it's just like staying out of his way. He's like, Coach, what do you think about this? He gets so excited. What do you think about this? And it's like, yeah, looks great, dude. Yeah, like, you can kill it. Yeah, he's genuinely one of the most talented people I've ever met. And I think being around that, it breeds other people to open up and try to be successful in their own way as well. Like, for example, Meyer and Simon are completely different wrestlers, but they're elite in the most, like, I mean, at the top NCAA level, where Meyer's super slick. He can pretty much just go out there and make guys fall on their face, where Simon's going to go out there and put hands on you, you know, for 7 minutes and get you super tired and just grab single legs and get on top and ride you to the cows come home. Like, totally different styles, but it allows, when other people have success being unique, it allows other people to try to open up and do new things.
I prefer the second style because the common man can do that.
Yeah,
for the most part.
I stick to my basics still.
You know, hand fight, single leg, high crotch, put legs in. Like, that sounds cool to me.
Yeah.
I can't, the slide bys, the duck unders, you know, all that stuff. I'm not really good at that. Never was.
I wish I could.
Well, speaking of
freak
both athletes, I don't know if you were going to ask this, Hunter, but I mean, going back to Wyatt Hendrickson, wrestling him, I mean, when did you know, like, okay, this guy's something special? And then also, I do want to ask, because we've talked about our reaction to the NCAA finals, but I want to ask, like, your reaction. I mean, obviously not coaching him at the time, but still, like, from the outside, how were you feeling from that match too?
I was in shock, man. I was just like, did that really just happen? And, like, to answer the first part of your question, like, when I wrestled Wyatt all the time, like, he's the strongest person I've ever felt in my entire life. Like, I've wrestled a lot of strong people, but, like, just out of, like, pure brute strength, he's the strongest person I've ever met. And, like, the first time I wrestled him, I actually came up in the wintertime to hang out with Cody. But while I was still training, it was actually kind of like a visit, more or less, where I got to wrestle with Wyatt. And, like, I had seen him before, and I wrestled him, and I was just like, oh, this guy's kind of like a puppy. Like, he just shoots a lot. He shoots with his head down, and I don't know, he just kind of, like, pops out on top. And I was like, I know how to defend that. But, like, I went there and wrestled him for the first time, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I cannot get out of this. He has my leg. I'm not getting it back anytime soon. So, like, in that same breath, wrestling him, I felt how good he could be, but I knew that there were tweaks that he needed to make. For example, like, he always shot a head inside. Like, he would either shoot a head inside or a head or a double leg, right, with his head down. I was just like, dude, just start with just getting your head up every time and bringing your hips to the party, right? That started clicking, and I was just like, okay, like, if I'm able to stuff him, a 255-pound guy can stuff him. So, like, let's just try head outside. And he was so explosive that, like, whenever he shot and he got his head outside, like, dudes were just lifted off the ground and stuff. So that was the thing. It was just, like, getting him to be a little bit more under control and tactical, I guess, and just spin whenever he needed to spin and everything. And I knew from the get-go that he was really, really good. I mean, he had great seasons before, but just didn't quite get over that hump. But, you know, I think just, you know, you gotta play to the athletes a little bit, right? Like, just instilling as much confidence in him as much as he could, right? And just, you know, talking him through, like, talking nice and slow tone, right? And calming him down a little bit, right? And I think he really turned the corner whenever, you know, his junior and senior year and getting there. And then, you know, by the grace of God, he got that extra opportunity at Oklahoma State. And I was just like, dude, like, he beat Kurt pretty soundly, and it was just like, I know Kurt was like not his best, but he still looked really good in that match. So I was just like, my initial thought was like, Wyatt's gonna like keep it close and try to like win it on the mat, because Wyatt, I mean, if ever wrestled him, I don't recommend it, but like if he's on top of you, it's like a 2-ton like weighted blanket. Like it genuinely hurts to breathe under him. So that's how I thought he was going to win the match. And then the second or third period started, he cuts him right away, and I was like, didn't see that one coming. I don't know, but I mean the way that it ended and like the circumstances that we were in at that time, where he's a second lieutenant in the military, right, doing that in front of Trump, in front of all those guys, in front of a full NCAA crowd. Like I was up in a box. And I was just sitting there, like I was with Yanni at the time and Ray Higuchi, and we were both just sitting there. We were just like, oh my God, like did that really just happen? Because he was in on that leg for a minute, and I was just like, you gotta go. And then he did it, rode him out. It was like one of the top moments to where it was just like, I was just in pure shock for the rest of the night, where I had to call my mom. I was just like, yo, like, I'm kind of biased, but was that like one of the biggest upsets in history? Like,
it
I
was.
don't know. Yeah, and it was, and that was just so cool. Like, granted, he was with the Oklahoma State guys, but just to be a part of his journey and just see his potential truly come out in that moment was just everything you need in the coach. I should have retired after that, but here I am still. Nothing
Still
better.
getting after it. Still wrestling. I see you.
Yeah, man.
I see you posting, getting after it. Those guys we were just talking about before, bodies don't work like they used to, but
No, sure don't.
They wear it down.
That's why you got to just start wrestling jiu-jitsu, guys. They suck at wrestling. Makes me feel better,
Yeah.
Hunter just enters tournaments just for fun, and
Yeah, they're
wins them.
terrible wrestlers.
Well, I mean, Hunter, I'm gonna let you kind of break this down. But speaking of not old bodies, but back when you're competing, we've got a
Yeah,
takedown.
so Scotty, we on this show, it's called First Takedown. We do a segment when we have a guest where we break down one of their first takedowns of a match they had.
Oh, jeez.
We did a little research. There's one match that always stuck out to me. There were so many points in the match. I don't know who scored. I wasn't sure who scored the first takedown, so I had to make sure that you scored the first takedown. And the way that you scored the first takedown was not how I thought it would be. I thought you would do a stutter double or a stutter high crotch.
Yeah.
But it was actually on a counter score, which I rarely see from you. But
yeah, same.
we're gonna watch it.
Oh, I love this takedown actually.
This was one of my favorite takedowns I've ever seen from you. It was so slick. Let's watch from the leg entry, Alex, and then we'll get into it. So just to set it up, this is Chris Weiler. He was a Lehigh guy that wrestled at Lehigh. Scotty, this was your senior year? This was at the Scuffle your senior year?
Senior year. Yep.
I think this was on the Consies round of.
This was the blood round.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say round of 8, yeah. Which back when the Scuffle was these matches were really, really good matches. So he gets to the single, finally gets his hands locked, which I didn't really think he'd get. So in this point, stop it real quick. So, I mean, in this frame, it kind of looks like a takedown, but you end up scooting your foot you end up scooting your right foot forward. When he was on your leg, is your thought here, I've got to figure out a way to get this back to the mat? Obviously, not the way, because you kind of fell and you got to a point out of bounds. But before, what are you trying to, you're thinking, I got to get this back down to the mat, or what? What are you thinking here?
So, do you remember the match? Probably, it was my second match. I wrestled John Borst, and he lifted me up and dropped me on my head.
Yeah.
Do you remember that match?
Yeah.
In that same match, he ripped my knee off. That's why it's so heavily taped there.
Yeah. I
was just like, dude, I just got to, get going somehow. My body is so stiff, right? And I was just like, okay, I got to get after this guy early. I'm going to try to do that. And then he shot that single leg, and I couldn't bend my knee.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit, okay, here we go. If you go back,
you couldn't even really do your typical defense here, right?
So he shoots, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm just sprawling. Nope, my knee's not working. Okay, we're going to keep sprawling. I'm just going to stand up right here. Okay, yep, lock your hands. Nice, okay. So we're doing this now. And I'm like, okay, well, here we go. And, at that point when we fell, I knew he didn't have my ankle yet, so I was just like, okay, let's just try to split this and go out of bounds. And
go play the splits, play the edge, like kind of.
The whole time I'm like, damn it, dude! Like this is not how I wanted to start this match.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty early in the match, right? It's like 40 seconds in. You're kind of playing the splits here. But let's just go ahead and watch the full sequence and then go to the takedown. No, just from where you were, Alex. Fine. This is good. Everybody kind of knows. This is the leg. Oh, yeah, super taped.
Shit.
Yep. Bend my leg. It's not bending. It's not bending.
I didn't want
okay.
it anyway. Yep. Oh, nice. We're still alive. Okay. Nice.
So you got your right foot away.
See, look, I'm looking at his ankle like, please go out of bounds. No.
Bang.
Boom.
So just go back 10 seconds really quickly, and pause it, play it, and then I'll tell you when to pause it. So he's starting to pull you in, right? Obviously, he wants to pull you in. He makes a big mistake. Go back again, 10 seconds if you don't mind, and then just press play. I'll tell you when to pause it. Sorry. Pause. Okay, so he makes a huge mistake by standing up to his foot, right? Like, obviously,
not really a mistake there. I think he was trying to get that takedown really hard. And my mindset, I was looking at that far ankle right there, and I was just like, oh, please go out of bounds. Please go out of bounds. And I was like, no, it's not going to. And he was grabbing my ankle, and I knew he was going to try to pull me in the middle. So I was just like, okay, I'm actually going to have to defend this one. What do I got to do? Grab his hand and try to pull it off and get a reset.
For sure. Yeah, and I think you're doing a good job. I guess by mistake I meant more like he thinks he's so far on the edge. Like there's no way y'all are getting back into bounds at this point, right? So he's stepping so far forward that with that right foot, where normally in this scenario, if you were going to pull the foot back, you would have your feet a little more squared. Right, you would be so far staggered stance like he is in this scenario, and he just puts a little bit too much weight on that front foot. You can see all of his weights on that front foot. He basically has no weight on his back foot at this point. Really, what he wants to do is have enough weight on his back foot that he can pull you back in. Even if you do get to that little ankle pick, there's no weight on his foot. He's not falling down, right? So he put so much weight on this front foot. I think even your reaction too, you're like, all right, grab these hands. I'm going to keep pulling away. That's going to get him to lean forward, and then bam, you hit him with that clean ankle pick. Bam.
I'll be honest, Hunter, that's not what I was thinking at all, buddy. I was like, oh shit. I actually got to defend this. Oh, there's his ankle right there. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to at least try to knock him off his feet or his foot a little bit, right, and try to get him off balance where I can wiggle back out. But I was like, no, I think I got the takedown. We're actually good here.
Yeah. No, I guess I wasn't saying what you were thinking. I was just trying to analyze it as it's going on. In your brain, you're like, I'm trying to get out of bounds. Like, I'm just trying to defend a single leg. And then he just stuck his ankle out there, and you kind of grabbed it, and you're like, oh, I went from getting taken down to trying to get out of bounds to now I'm up 2-0.
Yeah. Threw the brick and everything, too, and I was so mad because I was just like, no, that was a takedown, dude. I worked hard for that.
It was. I looked a little bit and tried to see whether it looks like as soon as he goes back out of bounds, you circled inbounds. So it was a really nice adjustment. And you probably weren't even you weren't thinking oh, he just went out of bounds. I got to get inbounds. But the way it actually works out is it was a perfect adjustment from him falling out to you getting inbounds.
Yeah. So. I didn't think that he would actually fall. I was just trying to knock him off balance where I could go back out of bounds. But I was like, oh, he fell. Let me get this really quick.
He fell. Your knee was in that, and it was in a perfect spot too. Perfect low single technique. How you would teach it to a kid who doesn't know anything about wrestling. Level change, hand on the back of the ankle, head in the knee. Perfect technique of how you would show it. And you just kind of ended up there from a defensive position, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool position there, and not one that you were probably not a takedown you probably got very often, right? This
only time.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably didn't score many of these at the college level.
Yeah,
moving like that at a 197 pounder too is pretty impressive. You don't see too many guys fighting, going to the splits and then attacking. That was some what we'd say some Cornell stuff right there. I'd say.
Alex, yeah. Alex, go forward. No. So you just keep it paused. and just click forward, maybe like towards where it says 2-0. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going. Like where it says 2-0, right there. Now click play. All right, go a little more. No, like maybe another chunk. Maybe I'm not describing what I'm trying to say any good. No, get past this. I don't want to see Scotty get scored on.
Yeah. Now what's going on?
He got
here?
me back.
Keep going.
Oh.
Keep going. Keep going. Further.
Actually.
All right, go back right there.
Further?
Go back more. Sorry. This is good radio.
It's gonna be good.
Go back some more. Go back some more. Keep going.
I'm gonna put.
Keep going. I want to see this takedown. It's 5-3. I want to see when it go back to where it gets his takedown.
Okay.
No, this was a reversal.
No, it was an escape takedown.
No, that was later in the match. Oh, was it this one?
Yep.
Oh yeah, this is what I normally do.
This was typical Scotty.
That's the Scotty. Yeah.
Luckily they gave you the takedown. I don't know how they gave you that takedown. I thought you were clearly out of bounds.
Yeah.
Dragging his feet in like always.
Dragging the toes, but I thought they were out. But anyways, this was typical stutter, right into the single, but then switch off to the double.
Yeah.
That was really clean.
Crazy scramble in this match. Hold on, I'm gonna bug you a little bit. Go forward to the second period. Go right here.
I need
Let's
to
see
load
where
up
we're
for
at. Oh yeah, go back. I gotta take it back on this, but it was like I was trying to look for this move again.
This is gonna be good.
Here we
This
go.
is good for our people that just listen to
Dude,
audio.
this was
for sure.
funny. I was just like, dude, damn it, like stop. Oh.
Yeah.
Knee didn't bend again.
Yeah,
It's
on that
still
knee.
He did not bend it.
Still
No, it
stiff.
did. No, it did not.
Back to split. Nope.
Nice
Back again.
cast over the top there. See, he's not even having to keep your legs straight. Like you're just doing it for him because you can't bend your knee.
I was just like, no, stop. Give me your ankle again. Come back out.
Like, look, you could have bent your leg if your leg worked.
Dude, it was so bad, and I was just like, I think I've hurt myself more by keeping.
Yeah, you
straight.
finally started to go. Yeah. Nope, not going that way.
Oh man, I'm like, no, still no. Okay, we'll keep wrestling. Oh no, that's
There you
three.
go.
That's two.
That's a good scramble. I really wish your knee was healthy in that position because I think there's a lot of things you could have done adjustment wise.
Dude, I could have saved myself a couple of scrambles, but I did get a cool takedown off of it, so you're welcome.
Yeah,
For sure.
Worth it.
That one wasn't going to happen again, but he actually did a better job that time of just keeping the leg straight. Now, obviously, he didn't realize you couldn't bend your leg, so but he did a good job of just keeping that leg straight the whole time. He probably needed to shelf it to really keep it straight.
Yeah,
And he
He had
finally
a hold of
tried
that
to.
ankle for a minute.
He
though.
tried to. He's trying to get it up and shelf it.
I'm like, stop.
Now he gets it shelved, and that's what ultimately leads to.
And my knee is just not gonna bend at this point. I'm like, I can't have to. Nope, I'm gonna go this side. Nope, no, thank you.
Yep.
No, thank you. I'm looking at the ref like 3. Is that 3? No. Okay. That's 3. That's 3.
That's all right. That's
or
all right.
2. Sorry.
Yeah.
Good
Dude,
times.
back in the day. Good times.
I
There
still
you
won
go.
that match, by the way. I know it doesn't look like it, but I promise.
You did win that match. That was a tough tournament.
Brutal.
Well, Scotty, so I know we've got Clarion Open coming up. You kind of hit on the big parts of your guys' season. But is there anything else, all our millions of listeners and everybody needs to, anything you like to shout out, like, hey, you've got this national duels coming up. I know in Nashville you guys are coming for those duels. Anything else to shout out as far as Cornell wrestling?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, man, let's show Cornell how supportive Tennessee wrestling is and how good it is, and appreciative we are to be at that sport, right? It's really special for me to finally wrestle and coach at a tournament at home, right? and I know we have a lot of good things to offer, and I just want to, I guess sort of reach out and shout out, the Tennessee wrestling and everybody in that state and the future, past, future, present right now. Just like, let's show out, learn some good wrestling. Like I said, it's kind of like what put me on the forefront, just being exposed to it at this young age, right? Like, how often are you going to get top 10, top 15 dual team or dual matches, right? You'll get to see a few national champs, a few All-Americans wrestling in your backyard. So I really just want to shout out, Hatcher for setting it up, just everybody involved, and, obviously everybody that, sort of brought me up along the way, right? Like, I think you guys have been a special part of my journey, Williamson County Wrestling Club, and then Gamble. You guys are running Bulldogs over there, and then helped brand me up, to what it was. So, you got nothing but love for you guys, and shout out to you guys for doing this. And, just continue to grow the sport in every single way that we can.
Yeah, I appreciate it,
Absolutely.
man. Yeah, it's been awesome to watch your journey from being in college to now in coaching, and such a unique and awesome journey, and get to see a little bit of that and the pride of Tennessee wrestling, man. I appreciate you hopping on today.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. That's awesome. But yeah, if you guys get to Nashville, you guys got to do a little booth.
We'll set it up.
Yeah,
Scotty, I'll bring the shoes. Maybe we'll have a run back of all of our 2-1 overtime matches we had in the room.
There we go. Yeah, you were very hard to score, and I got some tricks now though.
Nah, I don't want any part of any new. No, you can't do anything new. It's like it's only stuff you did when we wrestled. That's not fair.
I crossed a double leg.
I can throw my new stuff out there. Like you shoot and I grab your neck and try to choke you out. Like that's that's the new stuff that I can maybe do. It might be illegal, but yeah, man, those are some good times. Obviously, good luck this season, man. Happy talking with you. Hopefully, we'll get you back on, check in after the season or something like that, and
yeah,
we may do something in Nashville. I think that'd be kind of cool. Alex already lives up there. I'm not far, so that'd be cool. Maybe we'll do something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Well, hey, everyone, I appreciate you listening. It's been the first Takedown podcast, episode, 14 probably.
I think it's 15 now.
15. Ooh, 15. Yeah, you're right. Make sure you go listen on Spotify, YouTube, video as well. And have a good one.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.